You are watching
Trinity Episcopal School Production Network. TESPN.
Welcome to this week's TESPN podcast, and I am thrilled to be joined by senior Alex Giesen and junior Magovern Rollins from the Trinity Episcopal softball team. Pretty much as soon as this interview is over, they're going to be hitting the road to head to the state Final Four down in Dinwiddie to take on Bishop O'Connell. And let's just talk about the season, y'all. I mean, getting back to a Final Four. Of course, last year won the LIS for the first time in I think it was like 30 years. This year fell just short, getting to the championship game and losing a tight one. But Alex, first I'll start with you. Just how has this season been?
We kind of had a rocky start. There are a couple new players coming in. We had a cultural shift that we needed to adjust to. But once we got over kind of that road bump in the beginning, we were smooth sailing. Had a couple wins in the LIS, evened out our record, have a winning record in the LIS now. Like you said, we made it to the championship game. We fought hard but fell just short, and now we're going to fight in the state championship or state champion semifinals, state tournament. That's what I meant.
Yeah. And yeah, McGovern, how has the season looked from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much what Alex said. I think it is important to note that, at least since I've been in the program, this is the biggest team that we've had. So it was some adjustment having an excess of players. Well, not an excess, just this perfect amount of players. And so you have so many possible spots where the girls can go on the field. So there was this period of adjustment during the start of the year where we were trying to place players in this perfect position for them. So I think once we got past that adjustment, it really just kind of all clicked into place. I mean, up until the championship, we had really a smooth 7 or 8 game winning streak, and it was a hard-fought time in the LIS tournament. So I think we started rocky but ended off with a pretty good season.
Yeah, and I mean, each of you made All-LIS, which is obviously an awesome honor, as well as Jordan Winston and Jordan Morey. So getting 4 on All-LIS speaks to the talent in the program. And then to your point, McGovern, the depth, like you said, I know in past years sometimes softball's had 12 people. I mean, barely a bench, and it sounds like just the interest and the numbers have really increased. McGovern, for you were telling me before we rolled the camera here that I was impressed that you're a captain already as an 11th grader, and then you mentioned you were actually a captain as a sophomore. In my long history of following high school sports and specifically Trinity sports, I actually don't ever think I've heard of a sophomore captain. So
I was too.
What?
That's what I said too. I was like, Alex Giesen.
Oh my gosh, I'm amongst historical figures here. Both of you sophomore captains. That is really amazing. Well, maybe that's a nice segue into McGovern. Can you talk first a little bit about your approach to leadership? And then also talk about having a front row seat to Alex as a teammate and a leader, what that's been like.
Yeah, definitely as a leader, I would say I kind of fit into the more welcoming and encouraging role. I just try to be I try to be a safe space on the team where people can bring any concerns to me. I always want to support my teammates. I mean, I don't really think about leading by command, and especially on a team that's built up of such independent and strong young women. I really don't even need to take a forceful leadership role. It's just everybody kind of has their roles and their jobs, and they stick to it, and they come to me if they need me. As far as Alex Giesen goes, man, she's been a mentor to me since my freshman year. We roomed together when we went to Florida.
That was good.
And she was definitely very influential in getting me kind of into the team and getting me into the activities and the team bonding stuff. She always invited me to go eat dinner with her when we were in Florida, and she was always including me. I would say a frequently said thing on the team, everybody on the team says that they want to be like Alex when they grow up because she is just such a good leader. Oh, don't cry right now.
I can't.
But it's definitely a huge loss to the program this year. I mean, she's been with us for 5 years, and she's always such a mentor for everybody on the team.
And yeah, Alex, I guess same question for you. First off, how do you perceive your role as a leader? And of course, you bring the experience to the table, not just 5 years in the softball program, not just 3 years as a captain, but also being part of field hockey in your time here as well as basketball. So I mean, you've really been part of, I mean, incredibly competitive teams. You've been part of teams that struggled in terms of wins and losses, and in the growth of this program. So yeah, first I'd love for you just to hear about your journey, your approach to leadership, and then if you can give us a couple words on Magovern as well.
Okay. My journey, like I came in here, I came to a practice in 7th grade, and Hugate still talks about it to this day. I hit a line drive or something at him, and he made this joke that like he peed his pants, and I still owe him a pair of underwear or something. But that kind of just, at that moment, I just felt like I had a family here in the Trinity softball, and I still do. These younger girls, they're all my little sisters, and that's not going to change. As far as my approach to leadership, Magovern was like, people say I have a big impact, but I just show up and I play ball and I be myself, and I don't try to be anything I'm not, and I just show up and play in all the sports I participate in. As for Magovern, Mama Mo over here, she is just a light on the team. She brings so much joy to everybody. She knows when to put us in our place. She knows how to make us laugh. She just makes sure everything runs smoothly, and she's a great person to be around, and I'm glad that I know her.
Gosh, that's so sweet, and yeah, having taught Magovern, I would say the same thing. So that's lovely to hear. I hadn't planned on asking you this, but it occurs to me as we sit here that last week I sat at this same seat and interviewed your brother, Owen, about baseball, along with Tony Benitez, and I'm curious. Just again, like this is totally spontaneous, me thinking about this, but it was really interesting to hear. Like Owen was so mature, I thought, in this seat more than maybe I had seen around school at times. And so, what is it like having, and you had your older brother who was baseball, and it was I guess 3 years older than you, I think. So what's it like having a sibling, in your case, kind of following in your footsteps, or in your case that you presumably looked up to, and how does that bond between softball and baseball also permeate through the school and for you personally?
I know he's technically following my journey, but I actually found the desire to play softball at one of his t-ball games when I was really little, and then I started playing and I didn't stop. As we've grown up, there's always been a lot of competition, but I also feel like there's an understanding between us because we're both passionate about basically the same sport, that we can go out and hit together, we can watch baseball together or talk about it, and we both are on the same wavelength. That way it just is kind of a form of connection between us as siblings.
Vice versa to Alex, I like to joke that I inspired my brother in everything that he does sports-wise. Mr. Mickens had a running joke when I came to Trinity that I was not Matthew's sister, Matthew was my brother. But definitely last year especially, stepping into the catcher role on the team a bit unexpectedly at the start of the season. I was definitely reminded, and I definitely looked to my brother a lot because he caught all 4 years at Trinity baseball. And it was definitely kind of this full circle moment, like doing the same role that he had, and it was cool to bond with him over that. And I would call him while he was at college, and he would text me after the games and congratulate me. So it's definitely cool having that similar shared experience with him. Definitely I'd say catcher can sometimes be a lot of grunt work and dirty work. And so after the games we kind of joke around, especially on a super hot day or a day where it was just a lot of pitches between the pitcher and catcher. We always bond over that and talk about that experience.
Yeah, and it is funny when I think about Matthew and Owen. I mean, their age difference is, I guess, 4 or 5 years, but they're actually pretty similar.
Yeah,
they're both kind of men of relatively few words, but just solid dudes.
That's not the brother I know.
Oh well, at school at least. But yeah, I'm sure at home he's a little more verbose. Well, thinking about Alex, just like not just this year, but overall, you came to a program as an 8th grader that hadn't had a ton of success or just starting to make some state tournaments. I think hadn't really been, I think, even to an LIS championship game, much less won it in quite a number of years. So you've seen this program really make massive strides in your time here. And I guess in a lot of ways, you're kind of like the last bridge to like the old Trinity softball that wasn't the team that would be expected to even make a state tournament, much less a Final Four. And now this is, I believe, the 3rd year in a row we've been to the Final Four, if I've got that right, and going to LIS championship games in multiple years. And I just love for you to describe from your vantage point what that 5-year journey has looked like and the growth and improvement of the program.
I would say my 8th grade year, that was COVID year, so we didn't really have a season.
Right.
But we had like 12 players, but not all of them were like travel ball players or experienced players. So we were just trying to fill a field and fill the gaps. But even freshman year, we got an influx of new players. We had 9 ball players on the field that we could put out there in any position. And that kind of just set the tone for the rest of it. And then we had a young team freshman year, which I think that honestly attributes to some of our later success, because we all got to know each other and created a culture early on that we stuck to and grew up getting to know each other. And I feel like that development has allowed us to develop as people and through our performance on the field.
And one other thing that just occurred to me, and I did not prepare you all that I was going to ask this, so we'll see how it goes. But one thing that I know from when Trinity soccer used to be down on what's now the football, field hockey, lacrosse field until I guess 2020 is or what we call the field house. I don't know if that's what y'all call it, but the locker room that softball uses. I know the players that were in the soccer program prior to 2020 like still talk about like the fun times in the field house, the dance parties, the inside jokes. And when we moved across campus, like we kind of lost that. Like our meeting space is a classroom, and it's got its advantages, but it's not quite the same. So I don't know. This might be a risky question, but like, what? I literally some of our players wrote like their college essays, like their admissions essays about like the field house culture. So, and I know that was a big thing that Coach Darlington really felt like softball needed a space where you all could just have that communal space together. So could you, sort of describe how having that helps facilitate the culture of the team?
The fieldhouse space is definitely still the fieldhouse space. On the whiteboard before games, we make up these little phrases for whoever we're gonna play. They're very dumb, but we put them on the board to kind of motivate us. So many things have been on that whiteboard that are just inside jokes and everything. It's still decorated from senior day. We have balloons absolutely everywhere. We are constantly, like yesterday we were yelling at each other jokingly as we were getting ready about Baby J was looking at the baseball stats for Bishop O'Connell, who we're playing today, instead of the softball ones, and we freaked out on her. And just moments like that are what I'm going to remember most after this is over.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you mentioned senior night, like the opportunity to just have a space where you could put posters, streamers, balloon arches, like all these things just to go all out to celebrate the people around us. It's an amazing space for that. Earlier in the season, Coach Hugate put together a movie night, so he dragged in a projector. We ordered pizza in there. We had blankets and pillows and everything. So it is a really amazing space to just kind of grow together as a family, to get ready without feeling like there's a bunch of like people we don't know around us. And it's also good for just like coaches meetings. Say we have a rain delay or before a game even, we just meet in there and we kind of get our head clear, get our jokes out and everything, and then we go on the field and get ready.
That's cool. All right, let's end it with a quick little lightning round. Just do a few quick questions. Who is better at their sport, you or your brother?
Probably my brother.
He would say me, and I would say me.
Okay, who's your funniest teammate?
Baby J.
Carson Beatty.
Who is y'all's? Who's your toughest opponent?
Bishop O'Connell.
St. Catherine's LIS, and I'm assuming Bishop O'Connell State's.
Where do you hope to be in 10 years?
I want to be a nurse somewhere, maybe a nurse practitioner. That's as far as I've gotten.
Hopefully graduated college with lots of dogs, and that's all I know.
Do you have like a pregame like hype music that you listen to get focused?
In the field house, we'll all blast like rap music or whatever together.
Or like on the buses, we do early 2000s. That's good to like sing along to before the game.
Pregame meal or snack?
Bagels.
Bagels.
I know a lot of baseball and softball players in particular are known for being superstitious. Do you have any superstitions?
I always do my hair the same way.
Not me, but Ainsley McNear has to knock on wood after like anything is said. So anybody says anything about the outcome of the game, she immediately like freaks out on them and makes them knock on wood.
There's also this universal softball thing where if you step on the foul lines before the game, you have to like
Kiss it.
get down on the ground and kiss it.
We made Baby J do that at the gym.
Many times.
Yeah.
All right, let's end with just your favorite memory from Trinity softball. We'll go first with Magovern on this one and let Alex have the last word.
My freshman year, that spring break trip, it was so fun getting to bond with her and Ainsley McNair, especially who I roomed with. It was a great experience.
There's so many options. The trip this year, even yesterday, our last practice, we were all just so excited and joking around, and it was probably one of the more fun practices we've had. I mean, there are just so many moments to pick from.
Well, this has been awesome. Thank you to Alex and Magovern. Good luck. Y'all's
Thank you.
bus is leaving in literally like 3 or 4 minutes. So hopefully we can get changed quickly. I'm sure they're not going to make the trip down to Dinwiddie without you two. So if the bus has to wait so that we can have this great content, I think it was worth it. This has been a really fun interview. Congratulations on all the success.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
we are out.
Bye.
See you next
Bye.
time.